Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Luthier's Lair. This edition is part 4, I believe, yes, of the Gazzbass Wine Table build, yes. If you've been following, you know we're pretty far on now, and today we're going to be getting the finish on the top of the table, the actual table surface itself. And then we'll maybe move on to the center column and the electronics that are going to go in there, and then maybe we'll actually finish the base of the table today. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's get cracking. Okay, before we stain this, I'm going to put a little bit of sand and sealer on this. This is sustainable sand and sealer from Crystal Lac. They're a great company, and we're just going to use a foam brush here and apply some sand and sealer to the piece. There we go, nice and easy, simple process. When it's dry we will sand it back again. I've already sanded this to 400 grit. You can see I've got some brown paper down there. Make sure everything is not messy. So we just put this on quite liberally, because remember we're going to be sanding it back again, you know, so it doesn't need to be absolutely smooth, but get it as smooth as you can, because it saves quite a bit of sanding later. Oh, I like how that's turning out with the amber and the actual sealer there. That's good, like that. Okay, so almost done with the top part. We'll do the pockets in a minute, and then we'll get in there, in the sides there, down the bottom. Don't worry, because we're going to do the other side after it dries, so it's not a problem if you miss those parts. Now it's going into the engraving here, and I do want that sealed, but I don't want a lot of stuff to pull in there, so there's a little trick I'm going to do in a minute. So get the sides done here, get the sides done all the way along here and here too, and around here, and I'm just quickly going over this so you don't have to watch me brush the entire thing. Go, and here as well, and here, and these rough edges there need sealed. Okay, and in there, smooth that out. I'm going to show you, I was talking about we're going to do the pockets now, and then we'll do the trick of that. Actually that's absorbed in. Actually absorbed into the engraving there, so we're going to go seal the binger. The trick I was going to show you, I'll actually intentionally overfill that so I can show you the little trick that I do. If there's too much there, and if there's too much lying around while it's still kind of wet, the sealer, like I'm intentionally putting too much on here, work our way around. Get that in there nice. Okay, bit too much on there, right? Oh dear, what do? Do I squeeze this brush out? No, I can do. If you've got a compressor though, or some sort of strong source of compressed air, I don't know if these canned air things will do this. I haven't tried because I have a compressor. So what I usually do, that's the top done, is I will get my compressor hose and I'll just and it completely sorry about that, completely evens up the sand and sealer. works really well. I'm going to stick some in there. I know that's going to absorb two. Come round there. It's going to be a bit extra on there, but that gets sanded off. And that's it. It's that's one coat sealer. Once it's dry and I sand it back, I will make a decision to whether it needs another coat or not. Usually for a piece of furniture, you're doing about 2 coats or so. For a guitar, I like to do a lot of coats. You know, even though, because it gets much more abuse than just regular furniture. Depends whose house you live in, I guess. But yeah, that's it. Coats on, and the crystal wax stuff here only takes about 30 minutes to an hour to dry, depending on the conditions. And here today in Florida, it's winter time, but you know the temperature's still like 80, but the humidity is nowhere near as high as it usually is. So, okay, so just make sure that's sealed off there. Okay, let's let that dry, and then oh, just a bit, and we'll get back to it. Sand it back down. But already you can see with the sealer going on, it's got that little luster about it. There you go. Cool. Okay folks, yes, we're ready to stain this. It's had 2 coats of sanding sealer on it. Oops, did I move that out of shot? And I usually work that way, but for the point of camera angles, I'll work this way, and it will help me go with the grain anyway. So I'm not complaining. I'm really not complaining. I'm really not. So yeah. So next we're going to apply some of this Ipswich pine stain to the top and see how it looks. Let's have a look. See if this. And I did, yeah, I sanded it back to 400 grit again. The sealer worked okay. Let's see if it takes the stain, and it does. It does. I can actually see it absorb in. That's really nice, actually. That's really quite nice. Yeah. So just little bits at a time. You don't want to smother it, really. Not at this stage. We're doing something experimental after all. Yeah, it does look good. I might darken it, you know, just for shits and giggles. Sorry, I'm going against the grain there, but that's okay because it's stain, and when you buff it up, it just evens out anyway. I'm going to go along the bevels here as well, just to make sure. I want to get that out of the way. You see it now, so, and just start doing this and see what happens. I like the top like that. It's the grains coming out very nice on the veneer on the top of this wood. So this is good. Here's a little bit I was wanting to actually try for the first time. Let me just dicht this in here. Dicht. Big shout out to David Milne. David, by the way, if you're watching this, dicht. Okay, right. So yeah, I'll do a little bit of the horn here, but I want to actually go back to the engraving, yeah, and just fill it. Look at that. If I put a lot on there, see the writing come out. It's very nice. And of course, you know, you can really dab that on. You dab it on like that, see, and then go over the top of it. It's going to be fine. See, isn't that nice? Comes out really nice. And because it's got sanding sealer on it, and the engravings really don't have any that got really in there, well, it kind of did. It's going to come up darker. Isn't that nice? So it looks pretty good so far. So buff that out a little bit. So yeah, and I'm actually going to use one of these little droppers here and drop some really dark stain in there and then blot it up with some paper. And I'll show you that in a minute after I've finished the surface here. So I'll be right back. Okay, I have a classic black stain here by Varathane. I sounded like John Carmack there. I said aye. And I'm just going to stir that. It's really awkward keeping out a shot here. Just going to stir it. Okay. And we'll get rid of that. Push that away to a very far place on the floor. And we'll get a nice clean pipette or pipette. And we're going to sort of fill it. And then we're going to just drop it in there. Don't worry if it goes over the edges. Don't worry. I'll show you something in a minute. Just enough to fill that up. It's going to make it look kind of antique when I do this. Don't worry about the mess. It goes away. Goes away. Okay. Just doing this right now. I think that's enough. See? Screwed that bit up. Okay. Take a shot towel. Oh, maybe 20 of them. And just start doing that. Now, I wanted the darker colour around the outside, as you recall. Now that kind of looks like a mess, right? It's not, believe me. Because you know what? There are other things that are your friends. And I wanted the darker colour. I wanted this incorporated into it while bringing out the colours. The actual, the writing to be more stark and more bold. There's a little bit there, needs to be done. Now you can blot it, which is okay. But now you see I've got that stuff there. Guess what's happening to that? That's going to get sanded again, very lightly, because I've blotted most of that up. When I sand it again, it will be light, and I will be able, and now I can see actually a little imperfections as well in the top of the wood, and I'll be able to stain it the same colour. That's not a problem. This one, in fact, when this stain's dry, I'm going to tape that off, and I'm going to go over it in classic black and sand that down too. And it'll look awesome. Yeah. So, what I'm going to do is I'll just get this, I'll start sanding. Okay, like that, but you'll be able to see the mix, see it coming off the sandpaper. Sort of clumps because it's wet. I'm just showing you this for brevity. Oh. Now, I'm going to go over with a light solution of this, see that coming out? With a light solution of the classic black, it's going to darken the wood up to a bit more of a pleasing shade, like kind of like that. So the grain showing up better there than it does on the orange there. Wasn't too happy with the Ipswich. If you go over it with the sandpaper you just used, you're going to get an idea of how it's going to appear in the end. If you don't like it, well, that's okay. You do want the writing to stand out. but you can always get a solution of maybe mineral spirits or IPA and go over that and just wipe it out. I'll show you that in a minute. So here we are, a little bit of mineral spirits on there, and that's cleaning up nice. Now you can see grain coming through on that. That's awesome. You just go over the whole body with that, just to wet it up. And like I say, I'd like this a little darker, so I'm going to go over it with a very thin solution of classic black, which will no doubt turn out to be awesome. So yeah, let's go over the plaque there too. Okay, let's go back and look at that standing out there. That's fantastic. We'll get a really thin solution of classic black going. Brilliant. Yeah, and okay, so what we're going to do now is we'll take a little bit of our dilute classic black solution here. I'm just going to sort of do that around the edges, nice and carefully. I'm going to sort of flood fill the tray, yeah, the inlay. Try not to splatter it, it's okay though. See if you get that like that. Your finger and do that. Or a cloth. It's probably better if you do it with a cloth. You know, I'm just going to run it down the sides there. Now this will end up being like a gradient from the top of the tray. Screw up again, it goes away. This is all going to settle into the wood. Oh, now what do you do with that? Well, it's easy, isn't it? Get a short towel. Watch this. Because this solution is so weak, it just comes off. Right, so it's good to have a weak solution there to make mistakes like that. Or, as my great Luthier decorator would say, my great friend Rob Boss, it's a happy accident. So we'll just do the same here. Flood fill that. Again, there's a little smudge. That'll come right off. Oops. Need to do that. Okay. And, you know, that's kind of full anyway, so we're going to trace this round. See those bits there? No need to worry about that bit there. And then wipe away again. When that sinks in, it will have a very stark look about it, which is also good. This is, since this is on a slope, you can do that. That's on the surface there. It's sealed. Don't worry. Comes off. See? Now you get a really stark look about the table. There's different colours to look at now. For the edges, I keep the same solution of black there, and I use a fine brush. I'll mask this off. I'll use a fine brush to go around the end. I'll probably do this again as well, but it looks fantastic. It really does. It looks very nice. When this all dries in, it'll be fantastic as well. And we've got the added benefit that the sides there of the inlays, even though we sealed them, are getting even more sealed. So we're cool. Okay folks, yeah, so we're on to the centre column now. There's going to be trim going around all these edges here. I'll probably sort of bandsaw them straight. That was what happened when you don't have the correct or a good V-bit to make chamfers to fit them together. But it'll fit together just perfectly. It'll look nice as well. And here I've just stuck the prototype board in here with the active lights on it. I disconnected the lights just now because I want to make a little notch in the side there so that the cables go there. Now, what am I going to do here to maximise reflectivity? Well, in this compartment here, which will contain the bottle and probably maybe a piece of plastic tubing with a bottom to contain ice. I will put reflective coating on it. This is aluminum or aluminium tape. So I'm going to tape the inside with this tape. That means the light will reflect more, you'll get more brilliance from the lights. But first, you know, I'll take this piece out, it's not glued in yet, and I'll decide which way is up. This is up. So let me get a pencil here and put U on it. Yes. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some tape, reflective tape on this. So we'll just size this up. This is quite readily available and it's rather cheap actually for this amount. So let's cut our first strip. You want to make a decent job of this, you don't want it all crinkly. This is all wiped down. Let me just double check and wipe this down. Okay. This is a weird angle I'm working on right here. From my point of view. From your point of view it should be okay. And the thing about not having any fingernails, being a bass player, is that it takes forever to get this tape started. There you go. Okay. Watch, it does tend to curl up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, can you see there? Yeah. I'm going to overlap slightly. Just press that down. I do want to mention something else in a minute, but then I'll just use a pencil eraser and smooth that out. There you go. Nice. No wrinkles. Okay. So we're going to continue to do that until this is all covered, then we'll trim off the edges. That'll be able to slot in there, like so. Yeah, that's the way I want it, like so. Now the bottle's going to sit on there and the lights are going to be sitting on this. They'll be taped in place and hot glued so they don't short out, but I don't want the bottle hitting them, so I'm going to use a piece of acrylic in here, clear acrylic, with some standoffs on here so that the acrylic sits just above the lights. So, and then I'll use a waterproof sealer to seal that part off, and that will allow us to see the lights without getting them wet and shorting, which is bad. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and do the rest of this. Be right back. That's it for about this episode about it. It's about that time to go away. Bye. No, anyway, yeah, that's it for part 4. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Part 5, I hope to get right the way up to final assembly. Get the centre column all finished up and buff all the parts of the table, and then hopefully show you final assembly, and I'll make a special little video of how to assemble it. If you ever want one, I send it in 3 pieces in the same package, of course, and then assembly is very simple. Anyway, until then, until the next time, until part 5, or until whatever else I throw up on YouTube, it remains for me to say, stay safe, be good, and I'll catch you next time. If you like the channel and you like the content that I'm providing here, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, hit that notification bell so you get notifications of any other uploads that I may do, or live streams, stuff like that. I occasionally do live streams, so it helps me out a lot. And once again, thanks for watching, folks. Cheers. Bye bye.